Morning, everybody. You know, what I'm about to say, I may get a lot of flack for. I may get a lot of criticism. You know, some people will say, that idea of what you're talking about is crazy, it'll never happen. Well, you know what? I've been doing some thinking. And as crazy as this may sound to some people, and as pathetic as it may sound to some people, and as stupid as it may sound, I've been thinking, and I've been thinking about this because I recently was watching an old match from the Royal Rumble 1998. Not 1998, but 1989. And it's not only the Royal Rumble match from '89 that I saw, this match from the Royal Rumble, not the Royal Rumble match itself, but also the fact that I saw this as well, the Survivor Series in '88, with that all-women's Survivor Series match. Now we know a few years ago, TNA decided to introduce the Knockout Tag Team titles. Am I right? And we all know that our first Knockout Tag Team champions, as far as I know, were Taylor Wilde and Sarita. We know that. And they've gone back and forth. It's gone to Awesome Kong and her partner Hamada went to her, and Awesome Kong, and went to the Beautiful People, and it's gone to, who else did it go to? Went to the Beautiful People, then it's gone to recently, I think, the champions right now, which are Sarita and Rosita, I believe. Maybe I'm missing a few, I'm not really sure. But you might ask yourself, why am I bringing that up? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm bringing that up is because a lot of people are kind of dissing the Knockouts division, saying it's not the way it used to be. Okay, that might be true, but people do admit that even though the division's not what it used to be, that in-ring work-wise, it's one of the better divisions. Now, some people, of course, have a difference about the WWE's Diva division. Some say it's a work in progress. Some say it's a shell of its former self. Some don't even want to bother reviewing the matches. And some don't care either way. In fact, we even have some people, I'm pretty sure, that like the Divas division. They're perfectly fine with it because, like me, they feel that it will improve as time goes on. But there is something, though, that a lot of people always complain about with these divisions. Now, whether it's TNA or WWE, they always say that the one thing they always complain about is that certain women wrestlers or divas or knockouts don't get utilized much anymore. In fact, they complain about the fact that they get underutilized. Well, let me explain something. Let me ask you this. Let me explain something and ask you this at the same time. Have you not noticed that the women that get utilized the most are the ones that are in title contention for the Divas title? Have you not noticed that the ones that get utilized the most are the champion and whoever they associate with? Just pointing something out. And when you think about it, the Divas division is pretty full. It's pretty big when you think about it. I mean, we saw on Raw a week ago 9 divas, one that's going to be out now for over a year due to her pregnancy, that being Karma. But we saw, on average, all 9 on the Raw roster. 9 divas. We saw, like I said, with the exception of Karma, who's going to be out for about a year due to her pregnancy. We saw Kelly Kelly. We saw Beth Phoenix. We saw Eve. We saw Gail Kim. We saw the Bellas, Brie and Nikki. We saw Melina. We saw Maurice. I mean, that's basically 9 divas on the Raw roster. And if you want to count Vicky as a semi-diva, semi-part-time diva, then that's about 10 on the roster. But then you take a look at the SmackDown side of things, and you got Alicia, you got Layla, you got Tamina, you got Caitlyn, you got AJ, you got Natalya. That's 6 right there. Add to the 9 from Raw, and what do you get? You get 15 divas. Maybe 16 if you count the part-time diva in Vicky. But 15, and who knows how many more will be added. Folks, what I'm getting at is this. You complain that certain women don't get used, they don't get utilized, WWE doesn't give a crap about them. I think I know what could be done. You see, back in the 80s, from 84 to about 1990, as far as I know, there was a championship that sort of put the divas, or at that time the women's division, on equal footing with the men's. And that championship was formerly known as the WWE, or at the time WWF, Women's Tag Team Championship. That's right, the Women's Tag Team Championship. And think about it. Back then, that put anybody, even if they were underutilized, they were perfect contenders for the women's title, that put them on the map. That put them on television. That got them used. And as crazy as it sounds, that might be the answer to WWE's diva problem and to those that many feel are being underused in the WWE. Because like I said, you got 15 divas, 16 if you want to count Vicky. One, of course, being on the shelf right now for about a year. But again, you got all these divas, and yet you say WWE does nothing with them. I think what WWE needs to do, and maybe they're already thinking about it, because if you look at it, they've been focusing a lot on diva tag team matches, haven't they? We all know when a promotion, whether it's sports entertainment or wrestling or whatever, when they start focusing on a certain division in a certain way, they have plans for that division. They have something planned. And I think I know what those plans could be. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe this could be the only solution to utilize a lot of these divas and give them the opportunity to showcase what they can do. And what I'm talking about is WWE renaming the WWE Women's Tag Team titles as the WWE Diva Tag Team titles. See? You take a tag team championship like this, like the original World Tag Team titles before they were unified, redesign it, put the butterfly like right there, if you want to put a butterfly. It says Divas Tag Team Champions. And you know what will happen, folks? That will help utilize some of the divas that you feel are being underutilized. Like the Gail Kims, like the Natalyas, like the Taminas. You know, like the Beth Phoenix, like the Alicia Foxes. You know, all of them. They could all be utilized perfectly if the WWE brought back and renamed and rechristened the Women Tag Team titles as the Diva Tag Team titles. Again, that may sound crazy, that may sound completely ballistic to some people, but you know what? It makes sense. Because again, like I mentioned at the beginning, think about it. Who's getting the main focus on television? Those that are in title contention, and those that hold the title. But you know, as crazy as that sounds, why don't we go a step further? Because a lot of people are complaining that the women don't get utilized much. And like I said, it seems that if you're only in title contention or you're the champion, that's only when you get utilized. So here's my thought. What, instead of just reinstating the women tag team titles and rechristening them the Diva tag team titles, why not do one further? Why not go one step further and bring in a Diva version of the Intercontinental Championship? Now you might say, that's crazy. That's even more crazy. That's even more pathetic. Folks, nowadays, whether you agree with it or not, with a few exceptions, some being lay cool, you know, this year and last year with Beth and, you know, whoever, Beth and Natalia, I should say. Here's the facts, folks. With a few exceptions, a majority of the time, the only way these divas, these ladies, can be utilized, as good as they are in that ring, and as much as they are improving, some of them, and I think we know who they are, the only way you're ever going to get on television is if you're in title contention, you're the champion, you're getting a push towards the championship, and then that's about it. And believe me, and that's about it, right? And the majority of the time, most of the majority of the time, the only way you could ever get a shot at being really utilized, even without being pushed and everything, is if you had a championship. I know that sounds crazy, but I think, as many people, you know, despite how people feel that, you know, WWE doesn't need to add any more championships. Yeah, to the men's side of things, they don't need to add any more championships. But if you want to equal things out, balance things out, and help utilize those divas, those ladies that many of you feel are not being utilized, answers right there in front of your face, in front of the WWE's faces. Reinstate the women tag team titles and rechristen them the Diva tag team titles. Make them look like the Diva championships themselves, but have it say Divas and tag team champions right there. I mean, look, TNA's done it, and, you know, as small as the knockout roster is at times, you know, I'm surprised they still have it around, but they do. And then, of course, if you want to take it a step further, go with a women's Intercontinental Championship title. Debut that. Debut something that's like a women's version of the Intercontinental title. That way, ladies and gentlemen, these women can finally be utilized, in my opinion, and showcase what they could do in the ring, instead of being underutilized like many of you say they are. Because like I said, you got 15 plus divas. You got 15 to 16 plus divas on the roster. One that's going out for you due to a pregnancy. And then who knows how many more you're going to have called up. What I'm saying, folks, is the money, the answer lies in the gold. That's what it lies in the gold. So, that's all I'm going to say about it, folks. That's what I feel could really, truly be done in some ways. I mean, I know some of you may disagree with that, some of you may not. But that's just my take. And that's how I feel the Divas division, and the Divas that many of you feel are being underutilized, can be utilized. Right there. Answer is right here. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all I'm going to say. Comment down below what you think. Tell me if you agree or not, and I will talk to you all later.